The other thing with trans fat is it can be labeled as a hydrogenated or a partially hydrogenated oil, and now they could say it contains 0 trans fats, even though it's the exact same thing. So that'd be like buying a bottle of Dasani water. It says contains 0 H2O. H2O and water are the exact same thing. It's just a different name for it.
What did you say?
So if on the label, if it's labeled as partially hydrogenated oil or hydrogenated oil, that is a trans fat. But what happens is on the actual label, like on the front cover, not on the nutritional part, but on the front cover. So let's look at, say, something like this. Okay. So if they said here, right on the front, this says contains 0 trans fat. They could go and say that, but on the back you say, ooh, contains partially hydrogenated oil or hydrogenated oil. That is a trans fat. Okay? So even though it says, it's like calling water H2O.
Right, okay.
It's just calling it 2 separate things. Same thing, but just calling it different thing. So anything that says
hydrogenated oils and trans fats, very bad.
Yes.
correct. Yep.
But
Partially
good.
hydrogenated or hydrogenated oil. Either of those.
What's an acceptable amount?
None. None is the acceptable amount. I mean, literally, you want to avoid that at all
Is
costs.
that in here?
I believe so.
Say that one more time.
So anything that says trans fat,
Copy of the video.
yeah, partially hydrogenated oil or hydrogenated oil. Any of those three you want to avoid at all costs. Okay? What's some of the things that are high in hydrogenated oils for trans fats? Your pre-made baked goods like Twinkies, postage cupcakes, things that are loaded with them, donuts, things like that. These are why these things can have a shelf life for months and months because
I just want to read the box of a Twinkie. Just so I know.
this is expiration
It'll
date
make you-
2097.
That's not right.
I don't think it's food. I think they
Yeah.
make it in a lab.
So same thing. So let's look at chicken breasts, things like that. You know, grabbing some chicken, making it up the way you like, adding, getting a bag of frozen vegetables, can of green beans, boom, you've got a meal ready to go in no time.
What's your thought on like organic?
Yep. So things like this is great. So look at something like this. Okay. Let's say you got some ground beef, or has anybody ever tried bison?
Mm-hmm.
Bison is great. Bison is leaner, it's lower in saturated fat, and it's higher in protein. It tastes great. It is a little bit more expensive, but it tastes great. Let's say you get this, pre-make up some burger patties. So let's say on your planning day, you take this, you make up 2 burger patties. Put it in the freezer, freeze it. You come home one night, take it, throw it into the microwave for 2 minutes to cook it, defrost it. Again, throw on some a slice of tomato, maybe some guacamole on top. Open up a thing of frozen vegetables, put that on the stove, and a can of beans.
But is organic meat better?
Yep.
I mean, a lot better?
Yep.
Get organic meat?
Yep. You want to try to go organic as often as you can. Okay? Yep. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions on the meats? Yeah? Sound good? All right. Let's come on down a little bit. Now again, we want to go as natural as possible. However, I'm a realist. I understand we live in a fast-paced world. What I don't want you to do is come home and say, I didn't plan anything for dinner. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm looking through and, here's some frozen pizza, or here's some cereal, or here's a Pop-Tart. That's what we do a lot. We go and grab, or here's a lean cuisine. Okay, not real good, great options. Let's say you get this. Okay, keep it in your refrigerator, keep it in the freezer. Open it up, microwave it for a little bit. Go and get a bag of pre-mixed veggies, throw it on there. You've got a salad, or get some frozen vegetables. Defrost those, and throw this on, and you've got a meal ready to go in minutes.
You use a lot of frozen vegetables?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we eat frozen vegetables several days a week.
Me too.
I would say at least 4 or 5 days a week.
At least those don't go bad. I mean, you could always have them.
Yeah. So those are options that you can do that are going to be decent options.
How about bacon, Todd?
Bacon. Okay. So this gets down to a little tidbit. Now this is me talking. This is not a general principle for everybody. Some people abide by this, but not everybody. One thing I recommend being cautious of is scavenger foods. Not never having, but just being cautious of. So when I say scavenger foods, what kind of animals would be a scavenger animal?
A pig.
Pig.
Pork, okay. Shellfish, catfish, flounder,
Shrimp?
your crabs, lobster, things like that. Those are going to be your scavenger animals. Shrimp, things like that. Why do I recommend being cautious on it?
Because you don't know what they ate.
Right. They're just scavengers. They eat anything. They are the garbage man of the world. God put them on the earth to basically clean up all the debris. If we didn't have these kind of animals, by this time in world history, the world would be nothing but garbage. We'd be up everywhere over our heads in garbage. So they clean up all the garbage. Your hawks and owls and things like that. They clean up all the bad stuff. The problem is they're eating all that stuff. So it's like, I tell people, would you want to eat out the back of a garbage truck? Not necessarily, okay? Not normally. But we don't want to necessarily eat these. Now, you can go and have somebody, let's say shrimp. You can have one person eat shrimp and pork and lobster and stuff every day of their life and live to be 110 years old. You have another person can eat it once a week and get Crohn's disease or get cancer. Why? It has to do with your genetics. Some people are just more susceptible to it. Now, do I eat crab and lobster and shrimp and pork? Yes, but sparingly. So what I'll do is I will have, say shrimp once a month. I'll have pork maybe once a month. It's not 4, 5, 6 times a week.
So you don't trans
Okay. So again, just because it says zero trans fat,
Hydrogen oil.
as long as it has less than 1 gram, they can label it as zero trans fat. Now, if we want to look at, if it says any hydrogenated oil,
Those are tasty cakes.
yeah, tasty cakes. So I don't see any on here at a quick glance, but their nutritional label is super long. But let's look at, you know what? So let's say it doesn't have trans fats, which is great. So it doesn't have one evil in it. It's got the very first ingredient, sugar. Okay, 26 grams of sugar in one cake. So you have your entire daily allowance of sugar in one cake. You've got corn syrup. You've got enriched unbleached flour, bleached flour. You've got high fructose corn syrup. You've got soy in here, soybean oil. The list goes on and on. So lots of bad things in here. Okay, it's not like the old, hey, I went and made a cake at home and it's flour and egg. This has all kinds of other stuff. All right, let's go on down a little bit. Again,
The bacon,
these are some things I like going with these. These are, again, quick, fast, easy. So we're talking about Applegate before. These are some good brands, right? Again, now is this going to be as healthy as getting, chicken or something from your deli counter or something? No, but not a bad option. So you can get these, throw them in the microwave for a little bit, cut them up, throw them on a salad, throw them on with some mixed vegetables, and they taste great.
Yeah.
They're real easy to do. So there are things like this as well. Again, when we're looking at the deli meats, I would try to avoid these areas. I'd much rather you go to the deli counter. Let's go on. All right, so when we're looking at milks, if we look at milk, a couple things I recommend being cautious on is dairy milk. Dairy, one, is higher in sugar. It's also one of the higher food sensitivities. A lot of people are sensitive to dairy. So there's alternatives. There's coconut milk, there's almond milk, there's cashew milk, there's things like that you can do. So let's look, for example, let's get some unsweetened almond milk.
I'm not hurting it.
Now, I like going with the vanilla. I like the vanilla. And let's get regular dairy milk. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So we're looking at 2%. Who wants to take a guess at how much sugar is in an 8-ounce cup? Regular dairy milk.
That's 2%. That's not even whole milk.
Yeah, 2%. Now, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's 11 grams of sugar in here, in 8 ounces. Okay? The unsweetened vanilla almond milk, less than 1. So 11, 1. Okay? Now,
Why does the organic milk last so long? I don't know. It freaks me out.
why do they
I
last
mean, it
long?
lasts forever. I mean, it lasts a month or two if you look at the date time.
Yeah, I
wonder-
don't know.
yeah.
I have to say.
Is it the
So-
lactose?
What's that?
Is it the lactose? It doesn't
Well, this
keep as
won't
long?
have lactose. He says
No,
why.
that's what
But
I'm
like
saying.
even
It
the-
lasts so long because it doesn't have lactose.
I don't know.
Is that why? Oh, I don't know.
You know, like organic milk lasts like 6 weeks.
Yeah. So when we're looking at this, okay, this has a lot of sugar than this. This is more allergen than this. Okay. This does have more protein than this, though. This only has 1 gram of protein, as opposed to this has
7?
8 grams of protein. Okay. So there are pros and cons to each. Now, if you're looking at milk, like you said, that was the 2%. What is going to have more sugar in it? The whole, skim, or 2%?
Oh,
Generally, they're all about the same. Okay?
really?
Because why? Now, we live in Georgia. Okay? Who here has had sweet tea? Okay? You can't live in Georgia. Don't tell me you've never had sweet tea. You can't live in Georgia and not have sweet tea. So, if you make sweet tea, what happens to the sugar? Where does it go? In the tea.
The bottom.
To the bottom. It sells to the bottom, right? Okay? Because it's heavier than the liquid. What happens to milk? Where's the sugar going to go? It's going to sell to the bottom. When it's skim milk, the reason why it's called skim is they skim the fat off the top. Fat floats, sugar drops. So you're skimming the fat off the top. So 2%, they're skimming a little bit less. Skim milk, they're skimming a little bit more. Whole, they're not skimming any. So that sugar is still in the milk. Whether you go with 1%, 2%, or whole. Okay. So let's come on down. When we're looking at, like I said, with non-dairy options of milk, we've got coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk, rice milk, hemp milk. There's lots of different kinds. Of these, the ones I would recommend the most avoiding is soy. Why do we want to try to avoid soy? Yes, soy is an estrogen mimicker. So it's going to raise your estrogen levels. It's going to make it harder to drop body fat, harder to put on muscle, and it's also one of the highest food sensitivities out there. And it's also one of the highest genetically manufactured foods. So if you do soy, make sure you look for it to be non-GMO. So with these, again, looking to make sure when you're going with a non-dairy option, try to go with something that's unsweetened.
How about calcium?
Yeah, these usually have more calcium than dairy milk. They add more calcium.
What do they taste like? I've never had any.
They have a different taste. It just depends on what you're.
They don't taste like milk.
I actually like I drink most. I almost never have dairy milk in. I have almond milk or cashew milk
Yeah.
or coconut. All kind of rotate through. So come on down a little bit. Now, we were just talking about dairy, and that you kind of want to be careful of dairy. If you look at things like cottage cheese, yogurt, things like that, these are also dairy. It could be a good source of protein if you need to, like if you're vegetarian, you want to get some protein in. This could be a good source of protein, but just keep in mind that dairy is a very high food sensitivity. So I'd recommend getting a food sensitivity test to see if you're sensitive to dairy. If you are, maybe backing down from this a little bit. If you're not, then this could be an option. Same thing here. I recommend avoiding all the things that they add to it. So if you're doing Greek yogurt, go with a plain Greek yogurt. Ways that I sweeten it is I'll add like either some of the light greens sometimes, or add pumpkin pie spice, apple pie spice, cinnamon, a little bit of stevia into it. Sure, no problem. A little bit of stevia, and go ahead, come on in. And it sweetens up really good. Add some flax seeds or chia seeds to it, and now I've got something that's going to fill me up a lot longer, a lot less sugar. So things that you can do with that. Eggs. Okay, so let's come on down with eggs. Eggs are a great source of protein. A very, very good source of protein. Which ones are healthier? Brown eggs or white eggs? Brown eggs, okay, they're exactly the same. Okay, no nutritional difference. So why are brown eggs more expensive? Simple. The chickens that lay the brown eggs eat more. They eat more chickens.
He has his own egg.
Yep. So I raise my own chickens. Okay, our chickens. We
So
have some
jealous.
that do blue eggs, some that do brown eggs, things like that.
Todd.
And eggs are a great source of protein. Okay, so highly recommend getting your
Every
eggs.
day the chicken lays.
How about the cage-free one?
Crazy.
Yep. So same thing. You know, now with this, I'll be honest. I've heard a lot of pros and cons. I actually have 2 clients that work in the farming industry and tell me pros and cons on this. If you do cage-free, that doesn't necessarily mean that they eat better food. Cage-free just means that they're not in a cage. So they could be in a big warehouse and they're not in a cage. Free range means that they are actually out and able to graze on the ground. Okay? So there's a difference between cage-free and free range. However, I'll give you an example. One of the clients, he worked for Purdue. He would say that they have everything monitored so much that he can't spit in there without them knowing about it. Everything is monitored exactly what is going on. So they can give it the right nutrients, things like that. And you're less chance of getting disease, things of that nature. Whereas with my chickens are completely free range. They just go out and eat off the ground. Let's say hypothetically a bird's flying overhead that has Asian flu and it drops its feces down, and our chickens eat it, they get Asian flu. I'm not checking for that. Okay? So there are some bad things about it. However, a lot of times the chickens that are fed these things, one of the things that they're fed is corn. A lot of chickens are fed corn. So another one of my clients that's also in the farming industry, she'll eat eggs here. She gets real swollen. She says her rings get tight. She gets all swollen. She goes to Italy, eats eggs, has no trouble. We did a food sensitivity
Let's all
test
go to
on her,
Italy.
okay? We did a food sensitivity test on her. Guess what she was highly sensitive to?
Eggs.
Corn. Not the eggs, but the corn. Guess what the chickens are fed?
Corn.
So the corn is in the eggs.
What color are the eggs that your chickens like?
Mostly brown, but we have some blue, like tan.
I have a question. I heard that the human body cannot fully process corn.
Well, true. There's the outside shell is non-digestible, so you cannot digest it. So, like, if you ever notice, if you eat like corn on the cob and you see it the next day later, that's why that outer shell is not digestible.
But is that egg okay if the chickens eat corn and you're eating? I mean, how do you?
Good question. I don't know. I think it's just the outer shell that's not digestible. So by the time that what you're eating, it's more the food sensitivity that I mean, because corn is a very high food sensitivity because it's in everything. Who would have thought that you're eating a chicken that was fed corn?
They become a
Okay,
vegetarian.
so it's in that. It's in the beef that we eat, chicken. Then it's in all our processed stuff and our flour. It's in everything. So we're eating it a ton, way more than we've ever thought before. And then you get stuff like high fructose corn syrup that's now concentrated. It's like getting a ton of corn.
Which eggs are better?
Yeah, so it's going down a little
What
bit more.
about these egg white things?
So which eggs
Like
are-
these things?
Yeah. So, again, it's not going to be, as close to whole option as going to be the eggs. But you know what? If you get something like this, put
You're
it into
saying
a
that
skillet, add some chopped up
The
vegetables.
free range
You've
eggs
got
are the best.
a great omelet ready to go in no time.
They have some that are, well, the cage free are still good, and then the ones that are
So,
free
we
range
need some
are
great
the best.
options.
They have some
Now,
here.
with
So in the
butter-
brown cartons,
With butter,
and
kind
those
of same thing
organic
with
ones
cheese.
right there.
We want to go
Egg
for being
West.
free
Yes,
range as best we
they're
can.
good too.
So, the
Or these ones that say cage free. Those are good.
This saying cage free means they run all over.
Right, they weren't raised in a cage because you see them in cages like.
Please,
They
green.
generally have that in Publix.
So they're fed grain instead of corn.
Theirs is going to be
So those are better.
Yes,
free
ma'am.
range butter.
Those are better.
So that's going to be a better option.
They're even this one right here, the cage free.
It's got a cow right on the
Yeah, it's the cage free.
Kerry Gold.
Oh, that's the one I get.
Yeah,
It's
and
so
I
good.
Don't see it.
They don't sell it here.
Yeah, so
They
they
have
don't
it at
sell here, but
Publix.
Kerry Gold is one that is.
Is it real butter or is it like?
Yeah,
No, it's real butter. It's
So you don't
Kerry.
want to go with any of your your margarines,
Gold?
things like that. Your
Gold.
spreads.
That's all one word. It's
You wanna
Irish
go
butter.
with
Yeah.
Real old-fashioned butter, and I'm trying to see just real quick if I see anything that is regular butter, but I feel that's free range.
What's better, Kerrygold or Earth Balance?
I don't know. I would have to say. I know Kerrygold's good. I would have to say our But yeah, with butter, because it's high in that, it's the fat. You want to go and try to get this with the free range as best you can. All right, let's come on down. We talked a little bit about yogurt. So again, when we're looking at yogurt, I would recommend going full fat and Greek yogurt, and try not to get things that have things added. So you can generally only find the whole fat ones in the large containers. I don't see it a lot in the smaller containers. But getting this, and then like I said, add some apple pie spice, pumpkin pie spice, nutmeg, cinnamon. You could do some of the life greens. You could add some protein powder in here, chia seeds, flax seeds. You can make it up taste great and a lot more nutritious.
Why do you pick whole versus fat-free?
It's good to keep it full for longer, and we want the fat. We want fat in our diet.
What
We just-
serving size should that be?
It's a cup.
So it's a cup, yeah.
So there's 4 servings
Cup
in
is a
those.
serving.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if we're looking at things like this, like, you know, if we just look at any of these, you know, this is the line. Like, oh, this is going to be lower
Yeah, those
sugar,
are the
it's
one
lime.
serving size.
And this has 17 grams of sugar in it. So a ton. So, you know, being careful with those, going with the plain and just adding your own stuff to it.
Oh, they have grass-fed yogurt right there.
What's that?
On the top, I've never seen that brand before. It's grass-fed yogurt.
Yeah, I don't know. So we already talked about the juices. So again, juice, not that you can't never have, but just be careful, go sparingly with it. We talked about the cheeses. And then the last thing I want to leave you with is, if you notice, and I'm sure this is not new to you, you've all heard this before. We're gonna come on down a little bit. Where did we stay?
Outside of the store.
Perimeter.
All on the perimeter. Okay, oh, sorry. So you want to stay on the perimeter. Does that mean you can't go on the inside? No,
Yes.
you can. You can go on the inside. There are some great things. You got your frozen vegetables, okay, on the inside. You've got your spices, your seasonings,
Your
things like that.
Twinkies.
One thing that I use a lot of, I mentioned earlier, is organic apple cider vinegar. Bragg's is the most popular brand, but as long as it says unfiltered and with mother on it, it will actually say with mother. The mother is it'll have like a sediment on there. That's the good stuff. That's got all the nutrients in it and stuff like that. So if you're going apple cider vinegar, go organic, unfiltered,
With the mother.
With mother. That's gonna be great. And I use that. I literally take 2 tablespoons a day in the morning. It's good for digestion. I use it for salad dressings. I marinate meat in it a lot. I'll put. It was funny. I had my in-laws over one time for dinner. We were making up steaks, and I was putting apple cider vinegar on the steak. My partner-in-law was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm seasoning the steak." And he's used to having, you know, like A1 steak sauce and stuff like that. He was, "With that?" I go, "Yeah." And then I put some seasonings on there. It's like, "This is really good." I'm like,
I know.
"It is."
Say again, what do you want the apple cider vinegar?
With the mother.
With mother.
With mother.
You say mother on it. And unfiltered.
Okay.
And organic.
I have that.
What?
Bragg's BRAG.
Yeah, Bragg is the most
Bragg's.
popular
Where's
brand.
that ice cream that you?
Yeah, it's
The Arctic
right
Zero?
here. Yeah, it should be right here. So we're looking at ice cream. Right here. So these are some healthier options for ice cream. There's Arctic Zero, and then there's also another one called Halo Top.
Mhm.
That's another good one. Again, not that these are going to be. And see, they have a whole lot more. than
Yeah.
the other line.
Because
But,
it's not before my birthday.
So, yeah, this is perfect. I know. So, healthy ice cream. So, it's not that these are healthy; they're just healthier. You'll see, as people work with me, I don't like arbitrary terms like good, bad, healthy. What means healthy? No, there is no healthy. There's healthier. So this is going to be a better option than, you know, Ben and Jerry's or Haagen-Dazs or something like that. But it doesn't mean, hey, I can have one of these every day. This is good for me. It's not good. It's just a better option. If you're going to have a dessert, you're going to have a treat, this is a great option. Okay? Yeah, again, those are going to be smaller, but still, if you do the same serving in this, it's going to be a lot better. It's higher in protein, lower in sugar. Okay? Sound good? Any questions on that?
Mm-mm.
Awesome. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. My contact info is right on the back. So you've got your takeaway. This covered most of the stuff that we
Just lost
covered
my
today.
excuse with it.
Okay. You've got your little takeaways, okay, to read over. This is your quick tidbits. Okay. If you have questions, let me know. I do nutrition coaching. I help people with supplements at the club, so I'll be happy to help you out with that. And otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Todd.
Any questions?
Awesome.